Hi, I'm Carla D. Tillery, and welcome to the Chair Chronicles. I'm your life coach and your favorite auntie. You know, that aunt that is so not afraid to tell you the truth and help you see things just a little clearer, and you love her advice. Well, as a certified life coach with over 2 decades of experience, I'm very passionate about helping you find your happiness. So pull up a chair and let's have a talk. Welcome to the Chair Chronicles. I am excited today. LA is back.
I'm in the house.
Yes.
Hi, everyone.
Oh my God, girl, I have missed you.
I have missed you, hearts.
And a lot of our viewers actually have been asking about you, wanting to know how are you doing. So I'm so glad that you are back with us.
Yes, and it feels good to be back. And I thank all of our viewers so much for thinking about me and checking on me.
Absolutely.
I'm back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a great lead-in, this check-in.
Yes.
So I want to talk today about how do you do a check-in with your friends, your family, and everyone, even with yourself.
Yeah.
Because now it is now March.
Yes.
And we say so many things at the beginning of the year, right?
Yes.
We went through it. We were setting our goals.
Oh, yeah.
We got our plan for the year.
List.
We had our list out. I hope you had your list out.
Yes.
And so it's like, okay, so how are we doing?
Right.
And I think it's important that we remind ourselves of doing a check-in.
Yes, I think it's very important. And it's not only important for you, but for those that you're connected to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to catch up on.
So
I'm glad you're back.
Yes, it feels good to be back. Yes.
So with your goals and everything, I have done some revisiting of my goals to try to say, were they appropriate? Do I need to make any adjustments? How am I doing? Right. And so far, so good.
Very good.
So good.
Check mark.
Yes. I'm excited because, some of the things that I wanted to get accomplished has to do with like my health and fitness.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that I have been on my plan.
Yes.
I said I wanted to work out at least 5 days a week.
All right.
That has been working out. And I've actually started to increase the amount of time too.
Good.
And so I've been very diligent about that. Watching what I'm eating. Sometimes, that ain't
there now there.
I might need a half a check, not a full check.
Right.
But, so far so good. I'm not beating myself up because I think with anything it's a marathon.
Yes.
It's not about how quick or how fast you do something, but it's about building a new routine and integrating it as part of your lifestyle. And that is the hardest thing to do.
It
is to incorporate something that you know is healthy for you. And then how do you embed it such that it's like natural?
Right.
Yeah, I'm not natural yet.
And they say it takes 30 days to create a habit.
Right.
So then your habit becomes something that becomes so natural to you that you just do it.
Right.
It becomes a part of who you are.
Right.
For myself, have I written things down? Yes. Have I looked at them again? No. Again, life happens. But even if you haven't gotten to that place where you're starting to really think about what is it that I want to do for 2021?
Right.
It's okay. You can start.
Right.
You can start.
I love starting again because I think sometimes we just get to the point where I just let it go.
Right.
And that's not the point.
No.
The check-in is to say, okay, what happened? How are you doing? And to adjust, right? So you adjust the temperature.
Right.
So that you can get the right place, the right things that you need to kind of restart that initiative again, or that goal, or whatever it is that you had in mind.
And I think, it's what's wonderful about what we say, with the changing of the time, we say spring ahead. So that's your restart. That's your restart button. And I think it's great. So for those who've already begun their journey and are starting to chip away at those things that they need and want to do, all right. Now the rest of us, we have to catch up to you. But again, like you said, it's not a race. This is really about what works for you.
Yes.
But we also want to gather those around us that's going to cheer us on. That's going to give us that kick to say, come on, you can do it. I'm bringing you with me.
That's right.
And I'm so glad that that's what I have with you. So you're getting me excited about getting myself going. Yeah.
We have to. And I think we get energy. I build energy from connecting with people.
Yes.
And so when you start the conversation, it gets you thinking, it gets the people that you care about thinking. And I think that that's what's important because we need to hold each other accountable.
Yes.
We need accountability partners. And that's not a bad thing, like a ruler and a stick.
No.
But it's just like, okay, this is something you said was important to you. How's it going?
Right.
Are you working on it? Do you need any help? Like, what do you need? Because I want to see you thrive. And I hope that I have people that want to see me thrive.
That's it. It's a village. They say it takes a village to raise a
child.
So it's the same thing with us.
Yes,
we all need one another. We weren't put on this earth by ourselves.
That's right.
We're individuals, but we need each other. And that's where we get that motivation. And, again, you have to put in the work. But it also feels good to have those that know that you're on a journey and they're like, come on, you can do it. You can do it. Or wait, let's think about how you want to recalibrate. So I'm excited. And I think everyone should, even if you don't have these lofty goals, you don't have to have anything lofty. Is there one or two things that you want to do for yourself?
That's right. That's right. That's all it takes for you to see progress. Is not to have a full list, but have something that you can be intentional about.
Yes.
I'm big on that word.
Yes.
I'm big on that commitment.
Yes.
I just posted not too long ago, stay positive, stay focused, and stay intentional.
I like
that. Because this is that period of time where it's easy to kind of go downhill as opposed to uphill with things that you want to get accomplished. And there's been, so let's talk about some things that's been happening.
Oh, yes. A lot.
Because the check-in is important because life is still happening and so many things are happening to us that bring us down, right?
Oh, yes.
We've seen so much happen still in this country.
Yes.
That is not, motivating at all. It's discouraging. It's heartbreaking. Yes. We still have people that are dying. Yes. And it's still been a tough year.
It has
It
been.
still feels, honestly, like a bit of 2020 is still lingering.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I believe that although we are starting to see some progress, it's a turtle's pace.
Yes.
It's a turtle's pace. And so, like you said, life is still happening to people. People are still suffering loss. Some people are still, just trying to figure out, what do I do? Where do I go? Right. So we still have that compounded on what we see in the news and what we hear. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Life is happening.
Life is still happening.
Yes.
So like now, how do we pivot? How do we adjust to when life is happening, right?
Right.
And we still have these ambitions and these goals that sometimes takes a slower pace, right. of action because of the fact that life really is still happening. And we've got to address things, right?
Yes.
So you and I both, our families have experienced loss over the last few months.
Yes.
And that list has extended outside of my personal family into my extended family and friends. And I have just been hit with so many unexpected loss that it has just been like... You don't have a chance to breathe. Yeah. It is, and it's like, okay, how do I handle all of that and still be optimistic about my future? Still, show hope. How do you still show condolences and sympathy to those who need it and comfort them and keep your spirits up? Right. It is hard.
It is hard. But I think you really touched on it, that we have to sit in it. Allow yourself to feel what you feel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
While you're comforting others, while you're being, you want to be positive and feel, let them know that you care. But you also have to allow yourself to feel those feelings. You don't stay there, but acknowledge it and say, but you know what? There's still a lot of good that's happening, And I think that's where you say you get the community.
Right.
That's where you get that community from, whether it's within your family, whether it's those friends, whether it's acquaintances, whether it's just nature.
Right.
Finding those places where, although I might be having these feelings and I acknowledge it, there's also hope.
Hope. And I think we have to find those seeds of hope, those windows of hope, and look through them and embrace that too. And so let me ask you something though. What do you not want to hear when you're dealing with grief or dealing with a tough situation and somebody says something to you and you're like, okay, that's not what I want to hear right now?
Well, it's so funny because we're so used to these cliches that, I know what you're going through, and then the person kind of starts talking about their experience. And it's like, okay, sometimes we just need to be quiet. And as much as I love to talk, I've learned how to just be quiet in the moment. Just sometimes people aren't looking for advice. They're not looking for you to agree or disagree with them. They just want your ear. And they want your presence. And sometimes that speaks more volumes than anything. So that's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is not about you. Yeah. Can I just have a moment?
Right. And it's challenging because I think sometimes you overtalk. So I agree with you. I think people overtalk in certain situations. And I think perhaps, at least for me, the best thing is to listen to me and then to say, I'm here with you. You know, if you want to talk, that's fine. If not, I just want you to know that I'm here. Yes. If you need something, let me know.
Right.
And that goes a long way with me. Now, I don't know if that works for everybody, you know, or not, because some people like distractions. So when somebody else is talking about their stuff, it can pull you away from focusing on you, but I do think that particularly with grief, we do have to learn how to embrace that, deal with it, and move through it. And that's tough, right? Because there's so many different phases of it. And, you know, when things first happen, when you first lose someone that you love and you care about, you get a lot of attention.
Oh, yeah.
But it's months down the road.
Right.
Where
the
it's
calls
quiet.
Stop, where the calls stop, and you know, and when you see someone, they're, oh, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
But you're not going to get that flood of attention and all of that. So it's in those quiet moments. How do I process that? People still care. People still care.
People still do care,
But you also have to get on with life. You don't get over the loss, but you get through the loss. You know, and one of the things that I did, and I had to catch myself, my nephew, he was just so overcome with grief. And I think it troubled me to see him cry the way he did, because he just wept and sobbed. And I said, oh, don't cry. And I caught myself, and I immediately walked away from him. I rubbed his back, and I walked away from him. And I said, no, let him cry.
Let him cry.
But it made me uncomfortable because I didn't know how to fix it.
We do get uncomfortable when we see someone else in pain. It is hard. It is hard to witness someone go through their moments. And I heard something, and this thing has stuck with me. And I actually got it off a TV show.
All right.
I said this TV show got yes. But it was trying to prevent someone from dealing with something you know that you could help them with. And sometimes, like you said, like you wanted to comfort and you're like, stop. But he actually needed to. And so the expression, and I don't know it verbatim, but it was, we have to allow people to go through their night so that they can get to their day.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. Because sometimes we try to prevent people from going through their night season and dealing with the difficult situation or dealing with loss or dealing with whatever it is.
Right.
But they have to go through it in order for their day to come. Right? In order for them to get to a point where they're okay and they can see things differently. Sometimes they have to deal with their self.
Yeah.
And we try to prevent people from their own growth, from their own transition, from their own development.
Right.
Because we're like, I don't want you to go through that like I did.
Right. I want to protect you.
Right.
And I'm looking at him yesterday. He came by to visit, and he was able to talk and give memory and give name. And he didn't cry. He was able to acknowledge the loss, but he was able to talk about the memories and laugh. And I was like, had I tried to stifle him from crying because I didn't want to see him cry and be hurt, he would not have gotten to his day.
Right.
How?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So we can't prevent everybody going through their night season or their night moment.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that moment that's painful, things that they have to go through that might be very troubling. Right. But we have to allow people to grow.
Right. Right.
And it's hard sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
But if we prevent their night, then they won't appreciate their day.
Right. And then we think about it for ourselves. Would I want somebody to stop me and tell me, oh, don't cry?
Right. Yeah, you'd be like, I'm great.
I can cry if I want to.
I know.
So, yeah.
And it's tough because everybody handles it differently, but yeah.
Yeah. And then we get to the other side.
So I always say that you learn how to manage the loss. You don't forget it. You still deal with it, but you just find ways to manage the moments.
Right.
And so that's something that I adopted a while ago to not say, oh, it'll get better in time. I don't like that expression.
Yeah, that's what
but I like to say that you learn, you manage it differently as time goes on.
Right. And
not that time heals.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Because the loss is a loss.
That's it. And it can be 20 years from now, and it can still drudge up those same feelings.
Yes.
So you don't, like you said, you get through to the other side.
Yeah.
And you take those moments and you build on it. So you
Right.
build on that brighter day.
Right.
So that's where those goals and those dreams that you have
Mm-hmm.
start to play in. How can I be encouraging to someone else who may go through something that I may be able to give them a good word?
Right.
Yeah. I tell you, I love this springing forward and
Yes.
feeling renewed.
Yes.
and strengthened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we adjust to life as it happens.
Yeah, 'cause
We
it's gonna
have
happen.
It's gonna happen, and so
Yeah.
we have to deal with it.
Right.
But as we're dealing with it, I do believe in that. Those three key things:
Yes.
staying positive, staying focused,
Yeah.
and staying intentional. Yeah.
Positive, focused, and intentional.
Yeah.
Write it
Positive,
down.
focused,
Write it down.
and intentional.
Write it down.
So when I'm getting like that blah on me, that's what I remember. I got to stay positive because that's a push. Sometimes you have to motivate yourself.
You do.
Motivation, we always think, usually comes from external things. But it's temporary. Now, I can get a spa treatment and some chocolate, and I'm going to feel a little better.
Right.
But guess what? If it has to come from within. It's not tangible.
Right.
Motivation is not tangible.
That's it. That's it.
It's an internal sort of energy that you apply to what your thoughts are.
Right.
And your actions to then create a new experience that's more uplifting.
I like that. And I think that's that thing that we all feel within. We can't explain it to people, but it's like it's like, I need to be doing something.
Yeah.
That's it. That's that bubbling up of, okay, I want to accomplish something. I want to do something. How do I do that? How do I take that and bring it out? Yeah. So
It can be ignited from external things.
Right.
But it is something that is within, right?
Yes.
That then gets some energy, some gas, so to speak, from some other things that then you apply. So when life is happening, I think once you start to learn yourself and understand certain things, you create, right? These memories, these things that will ignite you to act upon,
right,
as a stimulus. Okay, now we can already talk about the stimulus
Oh, yeah.
check in a minute.
Yes, it's coming.
But these things stimulate you,
Right.
And then that'll allow you to stay, in the right frame of mind.
Yeah.
In the right frame of mind,
I
staying
love that.
positive,
Yeah.
and staying focused.
And then it's such an awesome feeling when you're like, I want to do something. I want to live. Because like you said, life is going to happen. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit there and let it kind of float on by? And again, do not, and I repeat, do not compare yourself, your
my
dreams,
goodness,
your motivations
to someone else.
Yeah. Everyone's journey is just that.
Yeah.
Their
journey. Yeah.
I don't care how much they get on social media and make everything look rosy. Good for them. That's wonderful. We don't discount that. And it's okay. Someone on the East Coast could be going through something that they want the worst enemy to go through. Someone on the West Coast could be going through something that is just celebratory and just wonderful. It's life.
It's life.
And it comes full circle. You'll have your chance for your blessings and your favor,
Yeah.
but do you?
So I mentioned stimulus.
Stimulus check.
So yeah, a lot of people are waiting for the stimulus check to hit their accounts, and a lot of people have financial goals.
Right.
Usually,
Right.
I shouldn't say usually, but I know a lot of people that typically have financial goals. And so, how are you doing with your financial ambitions, whether it's a goal or not? And whether you get the stimulus or not.
Right. For myself, definitely this year, a lot more investing, learning more about investing, and then starting to invest, and not just the 401k, not just that, but really looking at what shares look like. And again, I'm not trying to get into the scientific part of it. I want to know how to do it and do it well.
Good.
The other part of it is I do want to travel. I'm not talking about traveling right now, but I want to be able to travel someplace that I've never been before outside of this country. I'm hoping latter part of the year, once that I feel like we've crossed a bridge with the pandemic. So that's going to take money because where I want to go is
Right.
quite expensive.
Right.
You know, so how do I do that? How do I travel on a budget? How do I save for that? You know, but again, it's really getting my spreadsheet out for myself. Everything's on a spreadsheet, and looking at and the ways that I can save, which I have saved a lot by working from home, which has been great.
Yes.
It has been great.
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't even been in the store to buy clothing.
Right.
Everything in my closet looks new to me now.
That's what, yes. And I will say, I think the same way, because a lot of people haven't seen those clothes in over a year. So it's going to look fresh. It's going to look new. And I'm going to be good.
Yes.
So yeah, and I would say for me too, I have similar goals. I'm trying to do a lot more saving, which has been working out pretty good. But I know that a lot of other people are in different situations.
Right.
I was fortunate not to lose my job, but I know many who did and really need the stimulus checks to help just take care of everyday things. Yeah. And I would say to those individuals to stay positive.
Yes.
Stay focused. And stay intentional with their finances.
Right.
To that whatever they get, they try to apply it to where the need is.
Absolutely.
And not where the want and desire is.
That's right.
And to stay hopeful that things are turning around, that there is a positive outlook for still finding job opportunities, career changes and moves. You can connect with people that will help you with your resume, that will help you look for opportunities. Sometimes it's just by letting someone know. So I would say, don't stay quiet. No. Because sometimes it's a friend of a friend of a friend who might give you an opportunity, or might say this employer has a job opening, and so I would say sometimes we feel embarrassed, and we don't want to talk about it, but sometimes you need to be very vocal about where your needs are and what your desires are, because I think that when you do that, it releases that opportunity for that answer to get solved.
Yes. And again, everyone has been impacted. Some, like you said, it's their finances. Some more on the emotional side. Some more on the, so there are, we all have a story.
We all have a story.
But like you said, being intentional. Do not take that money. I beg you. Don't take that money and say, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind. I want to do this, that, and the other, when you know that there are pressing matters in your household. Look at that money as if you're not going to get it. Earmark it for something and put it where it needs to go. And I guarantee you, you will see it again.
Or find someone in your circle that you know handles money well. And get some help. Say, what would you do if you had this situation? Right. And I think sometimes we can learn so much from each other. But we just have to be vocal about it. And I think not feeling embarrassed and not feeling shameful that life has happened, because life happens to all of us.
Yes. All of us. And you don't have to go into detail. You don't have. Listen, I'm looking for another job, or I've been laid off. Do you have any leads? Are there any websites? And again, there's tips and tricks everywhere. Google. How do I save $20 in 1 week? You may need to turn that cable off. Get the Fire Stick. You may need to give up that gym membership, or
get rid of one of your subscriptions. Because now there's so many different subscriptions that are like $10.99 a month, $15.99 a month, right? And so I think even you can look at some of the details of where your money is, and find some opportunity
and take that change out of your wallet, out of the couch, out of the dryer, do those pennies, nickels, and dimes, put them in a jar. And watch it grow, and then take it to either your credit union, or even in the grocery stores, they have the little coin machine. Dump it. $40, $50, $20, $30. That's your gas money.
This is
innovative.
This is a great check-in.
Yes.
Just checking in on how we're doing on our goals, checking in on family, checking in on our finances. This is the best opportunity now to do that. It's perfect timing. And if you've fallen off, it's okay to reset. Just stay positive, stay focused, and stay intentional.
Love it. Hashtag it.
All right, this has been a great check-in. So glad to have you back. And we're so glad that you joined in on another episode of the Chair Chronicles. As always, stay tuned and stay with us on
The Chair Chronicles.